She woke up angry. Not the quiet, strategic anger of a soldier plotting 3 moves ahead. This was raw, sharp indignation, the kind that made her bare her teeth at a stainless steel room like the room should feel ashamed. A fox-like alien, lean and long-limbed, auburn fur-clotted with dried blood along her ribs, she snapped her head toward the nearest human and hissed through the translator mic, "Don't touch me." The system rendered it in perfect human standard, but the meaning underneath came through anyway. Don't claim, don't mark, don't make me yours. The 2 guard by the door froze with rifles held low, unsure whether don't touch was a threat, a taboo, or a dare. One of them looked at the man at the sink like he'd misplaced the owner's manual to interspecies conflict. The man at the sink, medic, not interrogator, kept washing his hands with the seriousness of someone about to offend bacteria. "I'm not touching you," he said without looking up. "I'm touching soap." Her eyes tracked his hands, then his face when he finally turned. No weapon, no swagger. Sleeves rolled to the elbow, tired eyes, a med kit instead of sidearm. He looked less like a conqueror and more like a man who'd lost a long argument with his sleep schedule. "Where's the interrogator?" she demanded, lifting her chin as if the stun collar still hanging loose around her throat wasn't proof of anything. "Probably eating," the medic said, setting the kit down. "I'm here because you're leaking." "I am not." She pulled in breath for a heroic denial, then her side seized. Pain flashed across her muzzle. A slow red seep spread beneath the darkened fur. The medic's gaze flicked to the wound and back up calm. "Can you step behind the glass?" he asked the guards. "Give us space." "Sir," one guard started. "She's injured," the medic said, and somehow that outranked everything. "If she tries something, yell loudly. Be dramatic." The guards retreated behind the clear partition, still watching, but the room felt less like a cage and more like a clinic. The Vulpine's ears angled forward. "You dismiss your protectors easily." "I relocate them," he corrected. "Fewer tripping hazards. Also, fewer rifles within grabbing distance. Win-win." Her tail twitched like offended punctuation. "You assume I am violent." "I assume you're an elite scout from an empire that's been shooting at us," he said. "I also assume you prefer not to die on my table. These assumptions can coexist." She glared at the table as if it had insulted her lineage. He opened the kit with a soft snap and held up a sealed packet so she could see it. "Sterile gauze," he said. "Not a leash. Antiseptic," he added, lifting a second vial. "It'll sting. That's chemistry, not punishment." "You narrate," she said, "like a hatchling learning to stalk." He shrugged. "People like information when they're scared." "I am not scared." "No," he agreed. "You're furious," which is adjacent. Her eyes narrowed, but the heat dipped a fraction. The translator caught her low growl anyway. "If you touch me, in my culture it is ownership." "Okay," he said, too casually for someone facing claws. "In my culture, touch is sometimes necessary to prevent you from bleeding internally. You are crude." "I'm practical," he said, then softened. "Look, I'm not here to embarrass you. I'm not here to dominate you with my hands." He stopped as if he'd heard himself and regretted the exact phrasing. Her mouth curved, almost a smile, not quite. Her eyes brightened with wicked amusement. "Your hands," she repeated, voice turning silky with mockery. "My translator flagged that word as a euphemism in several of your broadcasts." The medic stared at her for a beat, then said carefully, "Your translator is browsing the wrong channels." Behind the glass, one guard made a suspicious coughing noise that sounded like laughter in disguise. The Vulpine leaned back, wincing, but she didn't look away. "So you admit your touch carries meaning beyond utility." "Everything carries meaning," he said. "Meaning isn't intent." "And your intent?" she asked, like this was now her interrogation, and she was winning. "My intent," he said, "is to keep your organs on the inside." She opened her mouth, closed it again. A laugh threatened her composure. She swallowed it like it was treason. He set the packets down and lifted both hands, palms open, empty. "Question," he said. "Is this an absolute don't touch, or is it a don't touch without consent?" She froze. That wasn't how her empire taught it. There was touch as control and no touch as safety. Nothing in between. Consent, she repeated, tasting the word. Permission, he said. You say yes. You say no. You say stop. I stop. The air recycler hummed. Her gaze dropped to his hands. Broad, blunt-fingered, human. Not claws. Not fangs. Just tools. Tools could take. Tools could fix. She looked away first, like it cost her pride. No claim, she said quietly. No mark. No claim, he agreed. No mark. Just bandages. A beat. And you will not enjoy this, she added, as if accusing him of indecency. He blinked. Enjoy you bleeding? No, not the bleeding, she said, eyes glinting. The medic's ears reddened in the human way. He cleared his throat like he was trying to cough up dignity. I enjoy doing my job well. Her near smile returned. Then do your job. She extended her arm, granting permission like a reluctant monarch. Beneath the matted fur, a deep gash waited, ugly and urgent. The medic moved closer, slow and careful, giving her time to change her mind. She didn't. She watched his hands for dominance, for cruelty, for familiar script. Instead, he touched her with the gentleness of someone who didn't need to win. And that, she realized, sharp as a first breath after drowning, was the most dangerous kind of human contact there was. It didn't conquer her. It cracked her training one heartbeat at a time. She braced the sting like it was a ritual punishment. Teeth clenched, ears flattened, tail wrapped tight around her own ankle to keep it from betraying nerves. The antiseptic hit the wound, and she hissed anyway, because pain was pain and pride didn't numb it. Tell me if it's too much, the medic said. She snapped. Your species always says that before doing exactly what it wants. Fair, he replied, dabbing gently. But notice how I'm asking before I increase pressure. Pressure, she echoed, letting the word stretch into something suggestive just to see if it rattled him. It did. His hands paused a fraction of a second, then resumed with deliberate calm. Medical pressure, he clarified, as the adjective could put pants on the concept. Behind the glass, the guards had leaned in like this was the most scandalous educational program on base. You narrate again, she said. It is distracting. I can stop, he offered. Do not, she said too quickly, then smoothed it over. Your voice occupies the pain. High praise, he said. I usually occupy silence and regret. He cleaned the wound in careful strokes, never lingering longer than needed, never rushing. The rhythm was steady, the kind that told her he'd done this 1,000 times and wasn't trying to make this one special. That annoyed her more than cruelty would have. Cruelty fit her expectations. Competence without conquest did not. Your people are strange, she said. You announce your intentions. You apologize to objects you bump into. You carry food for strangers. I don't carry food for strangers, he said. I carry snack for myself and then fail to defend them. She snorted, surprised by the sound of her own humor. So your generosity is weakness. My generosity is poor planning, he said. My weakness is cookies. Cookies, she repeated, the translator helpfully providing an image of round baked discs. You seduce with circles. He laughed, then immediately tried not to, like laughter was unprofessional in the presence of blood. You're bleeding on my table, and I'm being roasted by a fox with opinions. This is not how my day planner looked. Your planner is faulty, she said. It did not anticipate me. Few do, he said, tightening the bandage. Hold still. Your hands are warm, she observed. Circulation, he said, a common human condition. In my empire, warmth is a tactic, she said. It disarms prey. Good thing I'm not hunting you, he said. I'm hunting infection. Her ears flicked. You hunt with cotton. And chemicals, he said, holding up the antiseptic again. Terrifying, I know. She shifted, then caught herself. The pain had receded to a manageable throb. The ritual humiliation she expected, none of it arrived. No invasive dominance, no marking scent, no public shaming. Just a bandage snug enough to do its job, and loose enough not to cut circulation. This should hold, he said. I'll check in a few hours. You will return, she said, as if that was a threat. I work here, he said. It's a recurring problem. She studied him with new suspicion. Your touch did not. Turn you into my property? He finished. She bristled. Transfer dominance. Nope. Imprint weakness. Also nope. Trigger compliance. She tried, voice low. He shrugged. If anything, you're more likely to comply with the idea of not bleeding out. That's just biology being rude. Her worldview wobbled. Not shattered. She wasn't that easy, but something loosened. The rules she'd memorized had sharp edges. This room did not. You violate doctrine casually, she said. I violate doctrine professionally, he said. It's in the job description. She tilted her head. You were instructed not to touch me. I was instructed to keep captives alive, he said. Sometimes instructions fight. I picked the one that keeps people breathing. People, she repeated. You call me people. You're not furniture, he said, though you're occupying my furniture. Her tail flicked again. The bandage held. The sting faded into warmth, then into something dangerously close to relief. He reached for a small packet and hesitated. Hydration helps healing, he said. This is electrolyte solution. Tastes like regret. Sorry. Your apologies are reflexive, she said, accepting the pouch anyway. Their fingers brushed, accidental, brief. She inhaled sharply, expecting the surge of shame or submission her trainers promised would follow contact. Nothing happened. No internal collapse. No humiliating rush. Just the odd awareness of how clumsy human fingers were compared to her own. You touched me, she accused. I bumped you, he corrected. There's a difference. Your culture draws lines in inconvenient places, she said. Your culture draws lines through people, he replied gently. The room went quiet in the way rooms do when something important has been said, and both sides pretend it wasn't. The guard shifted, suddenly aware that they were witnessing a diplomatic incident with gauze. She sipped the solution, grimaced. Your seduction fluids are terrible. I warned you, he said. We lure with comfort, not flavor. Your comfort is disruptive, she said. It interferes with my conditioning. That sounds like a feature, he said. Not a bug. She looked at the bandage again, then at his hands. You said I could say stop. You still can, he said. Any time. She considered saying it just to test the power. The thought of him stopping, because she asked, felt novel. The novelty unsettled her more than pain. Do not stop, she said instead, lifting her other arm slightly to expose a smaller cut. There is another place. He nodded once. No triumph in the motion, only acceptance. He moved closer, careful, narrating again, voice steady enough to anchor the room. And for the first time since her capture, she let herself believe that the danger of human touch wasn't what her empire had warned her about. It wasn't about being claimed. It was about being cared for, without being owned. She slept, not the light, vigilant half-rest of a scout, counting breaths between alarms, but the heavy, inconvenient kind that stole hours and left the mind unguarded. When she surfaced, it was to the quiet thrum of the station, and the faint ache of healing tissue pulling at her side. The bandage was clean. The pain was honest and smaller. You drool when you relax. The medic said from his chair, eyes on a tablet he pretended not to be staring at. It's very human of you. I am not human, she snapped, then realized the bite was gone from it. Why are you still here? Follow up, he said. Also, I lost the argument with my conscience. Your conscience is poorly disciplined, she said. It's unionized, he replied. I can't fire it. She shifted, testing the wound. No flare of dominance. No shame. The absence pressed on her like a question. You remain because of me. I remain because of the hole in your side, he said. You happen to be attached to it. In my empire, she said, medics are instructed to stabilize enemies only to extract information later. Touch is leverage. Leverage is for machines, he said. People respond better to not being treated like equipment. She watched him set out fresh supplies. You make yourself vulnerable by approaching me without restraint. Every medic does, he said. If I wanted safety, I'd sell insurance. She barked a laugh before she could stop it. The sound surprised them both. You joke when afraid. I joke when alive, he said. Fear just gives me better material. She considered the bandage again, then met his eyes. My trainers taught that your species exudes dominance through contact, that your warmth triggers compliance. He paused. That sounds like someone studied us through a microscope and missed a human. Our doctrine was written by admirals, she said. They do not bleed. Unfair advantage, he said. Bleeding teaches boundaries. The word snagged. Boundaries. Consent. The map of her mind had been drawn without those lines. If I refuse, she said slowly, you will withdraw. Yes. If I say stop, I stop. If I strike, I dodge if I can, he said. Then I still stop. I'm here to fix damage, not prove a point. Her tail curled around her ankle again. Habit now. You confuse power with permission. Permission is power, he said. It's just quieter. She lifted her arm, exposing the smaller cut again. It has closed. Good, he said. Your biology is doing the heavy lifting. Then why do you remain? She asked. Because healing is collaborative, he said. Also, because you're about to ask me something you're pretending not to need. She scowled. Arrogant primate. Flattering mammal, he countered. Silent, stretched, comfortable enough to feel dangerous. She broke it. My unit is gone. He didn't pretend surprise. We found the wreckage. My empire will claim I defected, she said. They will hunt me. Empires hunt narratives, he said. People hunt survival. You would harbor me, she said. It wasn't a question. I would keep you alive, he said. The harbor part gets political. Her ears flattened. Politics is how my people justify cruelty. Politics is how my people apologize for it, he said. We're working on the gap. She leaned back, eyes on the ceiling. Touch in my culture is conquest. If you touch, you take. If I touch, I treat, he said. Different verbs. You touched my fate, she said quietly, echoing a phrase she'd mocked earlier. It landed heavier now. He didn't joke this time. I don't want your fate, he said. I want your wound to close. It is closing, she admitted. Good, he said. Then the rest is up to you. She turned her head toward him. You offer me choice in captivity. I offer you choice in care, he said. Your captivity is above my pay grade. She flexed her fingers, remembering the accidental brush, the nothing that followed, the fear that had been promised never arrived. Your people exaggerate their danger. We do marketing poorly, he said. We're better in small print. She huffed a breath that might have been a laugh. If I speak against my empire, they will call me compromised. Compromise means you were willing to meet in the middle, he said. That's not a bad accusation. In my empire, it is, she said. Meeting in the middle means losing ground. Sometimes the middle is where bleeding stops, he said. Her gaze sharpened. The conditioning that had wrapped her thoughts began to loosen, like a knot warmed by patient fingers. You think I could choose otherwise? I think you already are, he said. You asked for help twice. She bristled. I did not ask. You lifted your arm, he said. In my culture, that's a request with better posture. The guard behind the glass pretended not to watch as she considered the impossible. That help could be offered without a hook, that touch could be serviced without ownership, that permission could exist inside a cage. I will tell you things, she said at last. Not because you touched me, because you did not claim me. He nodded once, sober. That's how we prefer it. She exhaled, a long release that carried years of doctrine out with it. Then listen, my empire's cruelty is efficient. It hides behind rituals of honor. They will not expect mercy to unravel it. Mercy is disruptive, he said. It breaks clean lines. She met his gaze, the corner of her mouth lifting. Your species is a hazard. Occupational, he said. We leak empathy. She closed her eyes, not to sleep this time, but to choose. She spoke without ceremony, and the room rearranged itself around the truth. Coordinates, corridors, blind spots, and doctrine. The empire's cruelty wasn't theatrical. It was procedural. She described how honor rituals launder brutality into something palatable, how obedience was trained into muscle memory, How Mercy was framed as contamination. The words came fast, as if her mouth had been waiting years for permission to move without marching orders. The medic listened like listening was an action. No notes at first, no interruptions, just attention given in full measure. When he finally tapped the tablet, it was to confirm details, not a cage or story in jargon. "They'll call you compromised," he said. "They already have a word for me," she replied. "It translates to softened by contact." He winced. "We're really bad for your brand." "Your brand is disruptive," she said. "You confuse clean enemies." "Enemies like clean," he said. "It saves on thinking." Her intelligence spread through channels that hummed with disbelief. Admirals argued about reliability. Analysts argued about probability. The Empire's doctrine expected intimidation to work on humans. The humans responded with transparency and an infuriating lack of chest-thumping. It short-circuited assumptions. Nobody knew which script to follow when the other side refused to perform the usual dance. "You're not supposed to be this calm," she told him as alert scrolled. "This is the part where conquerors posture." "We posture in mirrors," he said. "Privately. It's safer." She watched him adjust the bandage once more, careful not to linger. "Your restraint is theatrical." "My restraint is lazy," he said. "I don't want to explain myself twice." "Explain," she said. "That I'm not claiming anything," he said. "That I'm not owed anything. That help doesn't come with a receipt. Your people give without invoice," she said. "It destabilizes markets." "It stabilizes people," he said. "Markets recover." The guard shifted as the station changed posture from triage to alert. No alarms blared. Humans saved the noise for when quiet failed. The Empire's response flickered in fragments, brittle with offense. They accused the humans of contamination, of pheromonal coercion, of touching minds through skin. "They fear your hands," she said. "They fear losing control of their story," he said. "Hands are convenient villains." Her ears angled forward. "If they strike now, your mercy will look naive." "Mercy isn't strategy," he said. "It's policy. Strategy adapts." She laughed, a low sound edge of wonder. "You're telling me you don't conquer by force." "We use force to stop force," he said. "We use care to stop cycles." The first human vessels moved, not in a spear, but in a net designed to catch debris, evacuate civilians, and broadcast corridors of retreat. It was tactically inefficient and emotionally rude to doctrine. The Empire's commanders hesitated. Hesitation was expensive. "They didn't plan for exits," she said. "They planned for victory." "Victory without exits becomes a trap," he said. She leaned back, the ache in her side a reminder of costs already paid. "They taught us that if we let humans touch us, we would lose ourselves." He met her eyes. "Did you?" She considered the question honestly. The old scripts had loosened. The fear had thinned. What she felt now was not loss but expansion, like a room discovered behind a wall she'd never questioned. "No," she said. "I found a choice." "That's the dangerous part," he said softly. The channel lit with a request from her former unit. Fractured, cautious, curious. Not surrender. Not defiance. A question about corridors of retreat. About civilians. About whether the humans meant what they said. She looked at the medic. "They're asking for proof." He gestured to the station's external cams. "We're sending ships to catch their wounded," he said. "Not to take prisoners. To take pressure off the wound." Her mouth curved. "You patch empires the way you patch bodies." "Same principles," he said. "Clean the damage. Stop the bleeding. Don't claim the patient." She keyed the channel open and translated his quiet into terms her people would understand. She used their words for honor and twisted them toward restraint. She used their rituals for strength and bent them toward mercy. The doctrine shuddered. Some of it cracked. Afterward, the room felt smaller in a gentler way. The alerts dimmed. The guards exhaled like men who'd been holding air for a lifetime. "You didn't need to stay," she said. "I did," he replied. "For the follow-up." She held out her hand this time, palm up, not as a surrender but as an invitation. "You may," she said, then smirked. Briefly, he took her hand with the same care. He took everything that could break, his grip steady, his touch professional, the warmth there and not a conquest in it. "Don't touch me," she said, because some habits died slow. He smiled. "I'm just helping," he said, because some humans didn't need to change at all. And the war bent, not because someone was overpowered, but because someone chose to be held together long enough to choose differently.